Of the session is the leadership angle to being a functionary. A functionary of the mission has the very important role of being a leader for whatever area and initiatives he or she is looking after. So let us explore more about the leadership angle to such a role, and to guide us through some ideas that Revered Daji has given for all of us, I would now like to invite onto the dais Brother Prakash. He is the RF for Tamil Nadu, and we all know him very well as Sea Change Prakash. So I'm sure you have all known him before as well. So Brother Prakash will now guide us through the leadership angle to being a functionary.
Thank you, Dash. Good evening. I can't hear you. Good evening. Okay, much better. I feel like one of the member of parliaments way back in the 1980s who happened to attend a parliament meeting just after the elections are over. And at the end, because they could not arrive at a consensus, he was chosen as the PM. Originally, I was supposed to be a participant. For the last 2 days, I have been sitting on the other side. And suddenly, I find that the groom has run away, and then I have been made to tie the Mangal Sutra and become the groom in the place. For next about 30 minutes, let's see what we can make sense in terms of some inputs that Daji wanted to convey to you. In the morning, it so happened that before satsang, he was walking in, and he just asked, how is the AMC program going on? I said, it's going on fine. He said, when is your talk? I said, sir, my talk is not scheduled. I said, how come you are not talking? You should talk. Okay, fine. And then I had to juggle around for space and time and all that, and finally I got this slot. So no fault of mine, but anyway, let's see what best we can make out of this. Last 2 days, all of you have been bombarded with so much of information. All of you, those who agree, please put your left hand up. You are not being recorded. I am reminded of a person who went to a shop to buy saris for his wife, along with his wife. I can see how brothers are laughing. After almost 3 days and seeing close to 15,000 saris, the wife could not decide what to buy. Happened to you, any of you? Maybe the number of saris would have been lesser, 10,000, 5,000, 3,000. The same thing happens here. It's all good, lovely saris, so many things in front of you. You don't know which one to take, you don't know which one to give up. Everyone looks so beautiful, the next one looks beautiful. The famous joke, the moment you either buy a phone or get married, a better model comes in the market. Likewise, every session somebody is throwing some input at you, it looks so wow, beautiful. And then somebody else comes. And then they're confused. The water is again puddled and all that, and by the time there is some clarity again, somebody throws another stone. I sort of relate to you. I guess you relate to what I'm saying. I can hear a yes or a no. Okay, organizers, input for you. Okay, this is where the beauty of what I'm going to share comes in. Daji gave me 3 inputs to share with you. The first input was about the importance of leadership role for functionaries. He said, you do that as a profession, why don't you share some insights with them? When he started his talk that day morning, he shared what is considered to be his vision for Heartfulness movement. How many of you remember it? What is it? Can anyone repeat aloud? Making every human spiritual. Every human spiritual. This is the vision statement. Before I jump into what it means to us, let me also ask you a question. Each one of you in your own way, you are a leader, whether you like it or not. Don't look behind to see if there are any followers. The people in the last row will be disappointed because there won't be anyone behind them. You all can turn back. There are so many people behind you. What is leadership really for you in your own way? Write on any answer that comes to your mind. If you look at the top 10 words Googled the last about 10-15 years, one of the most often repeated word search is the word leadership. There are close to about 2,000 to 2,500 definition of what leadership is all about. Everyone is pertinent, every definition is pertinent, every definition is important depending upon what you do. But let me share one perspective with which I'll connect back to the vision that Daji gave, and see what we can make sense out of the offering that has been bombarded in the last 2 days, with good intentions. This definition of leadership which I like the most, I have about 5 definitions which I like, depending upon the audience I speak, I change the definition. The definition of leadership which suits us the most in our role is something like this: the ability to lead yourself and lead others. The ability to lead yourself and lead others. The first one is more important. If you cannot lead yourself, can you ever lead others in the first place? In all probability not, yet the world is full of leaders who think they are leaders, they don't know how to lead themselves, yet there are people behind them. Creates anarchy, confusion. Whether we are an NGO or a profitable organization or running a corporate, running a nation, this is a big issue for us. And this is one thing which has been missing in the last 2 days. Maybe that's why he asked me to share the insights pertaining to this. Do you know how to lead yourself? Maybe yes, maybe no. It's choice is yours. I'm not going to ask you to do that. But I want you to do one exercise. As we go along, I am going to share 4 important perspectives which would define what a capable leader should be doing. You can rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 25 on all these 4 criteria. And if you score self-rating, please, you don't need to go and ask anyone else, but if you still feel it is worthwhile, go and talk to those volunteers, functionaries, preceptors who interact with you and ask for a candid feedback. How much would you rate me on this scale, on this parameter, on 1 to 25? If the collective score is somewhere above 60 or more, you are doing good. If it is something below 60, nothing to worry. You can still, we are all work in progress. We can make ourselves far better. What are those 4 parameters which are really essential? The first one starts with what Daji gave us. What galvanizes people around you? What brings people around you all the time? What makes people look up to you and say, wow, this is some person whom I have to follow? What could it be? The ability to set a vision or a goal. The vision that Daji gave may be fulfilled in the next 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years, yet it is a powerful vision which galvanizes all of us together to take heartfulness to every human and make them spiritual. The goal is so vast, the goal is growing. As I am talking, maybe 10 million people have been born already. The goal is only continuously growing. It can be scary at times. But yet, there is something which is a larger purpose, which galvanizes people around you. As a leader, you may be an ashram manager, you may be an AMC member, you may be a preceptor, you may be a RF or a EZC or a working committee member, or doing any role that you are currently holding. Even if you are, I don't want to use the word mere volunteer, even if you are a volunteer, you still have a role. What is your goal? Have you ever answered this question? Being in Sahaj Marg, I am not asking about your spiritual goal, that apart. Prior to this, let me share one small anecdote as to what it means for me to contribute towards this larger goal. Way back in 2012, when he was the vice president, we were sitting in the cottage room where Charji was in the other room. We were sharing a very important insight. We were reading from the old whispers. Today, these are published, which you may be aware. And we was reading one portion of the whispers where he asked me to read and said, Prakash, do you understand what this means? I understood, but I wanted to hear from him. I understood in my own way. And then he said, look what Babaji Maharaj has written. He speaks there where Babaji Maharaj, for Babaji Maharaj, one interaction was sufficient with any Abhyasi. And when that Abhyasi meets Babaji Maharaj, Babaji Maharaj decides what will be his final progress. And he said the job is done. It is only then that your job really begins, that you have to let it unfold. Which means you have to grow into that what Babaji has already given you. When he said Babaji Maharaj, I very clear and understood, he is referring to a master. So when he says Babaji, it's not about Babaji Maharaj, it's about the incarnate master. When you meet him once, that's why Lalaji Maharaj said, one exposure to the living master is essential. The rest are luxury. He wrote this letter when there were only about 100 abhyasis. The rest are luxury. In that period, he fixes already what your goal is, what will be your escape point. But you need to grow into that. We are all in that way prepaid. Your goal is already given. If I am going to take up a job and next 30 years I am going to work in this corporation and I have already been given the full payment ahead on day one, what kind of commitment would I give to that organization? They already paid. Next 30 years, including escalations, promotions, and raises and all that, they already given to me as a check upfront. Would I be committed towards working for that organization, for that person who guarantees that? We are all gifted in that sense. If you haven't yet understood, please bear in mind, forget your end objective, it's taken care. The only way I can grow into deserving that goal that he has fixed for me at the time of exit is to grow into it by serving him. And serving him at my highest level, not at my lowest level. Morning I was speaking to the preceptors in the ground floor, people who are 35 and below, youth. I told them we all have two options. I will do what I can, I will do what I should. What is your choice? People who do what they can are what I call as 40% club members, just pass. This is all I can do. My wife doesn't allow, my family doesn't allow, my material life doesn't allow. This is all I can do. Then there are other class of people who are about 2 to 3% of the total population in the world. They will do whatever should be done to reach that goal. So coming back to the point number one, as a leader, the point number one is, what is your goal? Not just for you, for the people who are around you, as a center coordinator, as a EZC, as an ashram manager. There will be a lot of people who are working with you. Not all of them need to have the same goals. If he is a Connect volunteer, the goal could be related to the Connect work that he has to do. If you are an AMC member, the goal that I set for an AMC member could be different, will be different as compared to what I would set for a Connect member. Let me share what we did in Tamil Nadu as a model, where a few times Daji mentioned about this Tamil Nadu model. When I assumed the role that he gave me in June 2022, the first thing that we did is, the EZCs and the number of functionaries at the time, we all sat together, wanted to create a vision which would galvanize everyone in Tamil Nadu together. And then he wrote a vision statement. By June 2025, why June 25? My tenure ends then, technically. By June 2025, the entire Tamil Nadu population should have known what heartfulness movement is. Whether they practice or not is secondary. And we further subdivided them into goals for EZCs, for DCs, for TCs, for CCs, for youth district coordinators, for IT coordinators. We have now a fairly large team of close to 600 people in Tamil Nadu. How this concept works for us, because this is something that he gave us. When I spoke with him, he helped me to create this vision. He said, why don't you think bigger? And then we divided. Today, whether people achieve the goals or not, they all know what is that in front of them that they have to aim for. Which means life is full of fun and a lot of activities. There's something always to do. If you have nothing else to do, tomorrow morning you're going to die, will you wake up? Goal is what Abdul Kalam once said. Goal is not that comes in your dream. Goal is that which will make you not sleep in the night, so that you wake up the next day night to do something. Find out from all these offerings these people gave you, and whatever you might get tomorrow, day after, which portion of this can I put together as a goal for myself, for my team members, and then do what? Then the second quality of a leader comes in, which is what I would call as your ability to communicate. The second leadership quality. What I am sharing is something many of you may already be doing. It's like a mom cooks a very good food, I just put a recipe around it, that's all. I'm putting a recipe for you to understand whatever you are currently doing, just see if these 4 boxes are being ticked continuously on a scale of 1 to 25. If you can score on a collective score of 60 or more, you're doing great. Closer to 100, master will surely be very happy with you. You don't have to send him my scorecard is so much. Even if you take the OKR concept on which they're going to deep dive tomorrow, it's all about objectives. Objectives, what a goal. If I just go to the main road and ask someone, where is this road going? And if the person asks, where do you want to know? If I tell him, how does it matter to you? I want to know where this road goes. Without a goal, nobody can even tell you. The famous story, Alice in Wonderland. If you don't know where you are going, keep going. One day you will reach there. If you have a goal, the second thing that you need to do is your ability to communicate and galvanize the team with this goal and create a sense of urgency that this is something that we owe it to the masters. Your ability, what is the role of communication in life? Very simply put, your ability to communicate is something that will help to create action. They are communicating a lot. What do they want to do? They want to create some action items in you. But generic action items sometimes will not help you. I need to put things together. I have all the dishes in my home, but if I don't know what dish I want to cook, I don't know which items to pick. If I don't know what is my goal, I don't know what resources I have in front of me for me to bring them together so that I can cook something which will make me reach the goal. Your ability to communicate is something you have to keep sharpening all the time. There is never an end to it. If you are able to talk to your team, great communicators, one Charji Maharaj said, when great communicators communicate, if they ask you to jump from top of a floor, you don't ask why, you ask them how high. Don't ask your volunteers to jump off the floor, because Prakash told the other day, ask them to jump. It is your ability to influence. Communication is your ability to influence towards a common goal, so that despite all the problems in their life, all the challenges in life, don't I have any challenges? I have a lot of challenges. I am sure each one of you have. None of us are problem-free. Only 2 people are problem-free. Those who are yet to born, those who are already dead. Anybody here of those 2 categories here? Those who are sleeping at discount. Okay, fine. If you are able to communicate and inspire the people towards a common goal, show them what are the resources available. How can we do? Daji has told us several times, over-communicate. Tell them again. Like what Babuji Maharaj said, good things have to be repeated. There is a goal, keep repeating, keep repeating, keep repeating in a polite way. Ask them, have you understood? Are we aligned to the goal? Is there some challenge that you have? The famous story of Ray Kroc, the founder CEO, there's a movie called The Founder. His famous statement, how do I help my employees perform all the time? My only role as a CEO or as a top level executive or as a leader is to find what is it my team member wants to achieve and remove the obstacles. He said, that's my only role as a CEO. I asked them, what do you want to achieve? What is stopping you from achieving? And ensure you remove the obstacle. You don't become the obstacle yourself. And you know what I mean, right? As an AMC member or as a functionary, we have a lot of obstacles which come, the biggest obstacle being my ego. How dare you speak to the Arab Strait bypassing me? How dare you write a mail to headquarters without asking me? The same thing happened to Charji Maharaj once. He went to a center, and the center coordinator came and complained to him that everybody in the center knew, but I did not know I am the CC here. And Charji Maharaj gave a beautiful response. Many of you might have heard that. He looked at that person very calmly. He said, no, I have my master up there, Babuji Maharaj, but he sends the message through the messenger in France. He doesn't talk to me straight. So that settled the score. So don't worry about, as long as the goal gets achieved. Point number 2 I mentioned is your ability to communicate. It's a huge topic. Someday maybe we'll go deeper into that. The third point, your ability to manage time. Of all the resources available to you, see, today money is not a big issue. Please bear in mind. Not as it was 10, 20, 30 years back. It's still an issue, but it's not that big an issue. Resources are available. If you can't get a volunteer, we have started outsourcing the work. You had 1 hour presentation yesterday by HR department saying we are hiring people. When did you hear that last? In an NGO, not for profit organization. We are hiring people, which means the organization is ready to do. But one thing that is infinite yet finite in front of you is your ability to manage time. I'll just give you one tip to manage your time effectively. That's how I manage my time. Once you are clear of your goals, if you are clear of your goals, if you are not clear, managing time is going to be a very big issue. If I am clear of what my goals are, either it's personal, spiritual, materialistic, organizational, for the ashram, whatever it is, you can have multiple goals. You can have short-term goals, you can have daily goals, you can have 6-month goal, you can have a 3-year goal, whatever it is. But don't set such a way that your goal book will look like a Mahabharata book. I have about 7,850 goals to achieve. I don't know where to begin. Keep it lean and mean. The moment you have a goal, all you have to do is look at your daily time and find whatever that does not align with the goal, do not do it. Golden rule of time management, which is shared in many sessions. It's your ability to be clear what you should not be doing. Look at the masters. They are very clear what they should not be doing. The amount of free time that they seem to have, I have been with 2 masters in various ways in which I have attached in doing some work with them. I always found that they have abundant time in front of them. They have never said, no, I don't have time. I have never heard that word. Because they are very clear what they should not be doing. Which means their goal alignment is clear. If this helps me go towards the goal, I deploy time. If it does not help me go towards the goal, I will not deploy the time. I will not do that work. You have to learn to say no many times when it does not help you to go to, whether it's personal life, whether it's material life, whether it's your life as a volunteer or as a functionary. But the whole thing again boils down to point number 1, as a leader. Is your goal clear for yourself, for your team? Even if you spend next 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, if you work with 4 different teams, sit with all of them, find a common goal. Don't tell them what the goal is, because that way it becomes your goal. Charity always used to tell all of us, the goals that you make your volunteers to agree upon should be that which they believe they have created. You facilitate, you don't tell them do this. You just say, okay, these are the options, what do you think we can do? And then find whatever works for them, make it as a common goal. Then what happens is you align your day. For this goal, I'll spend about an hour's time. For this goal, I'll spend about 2 hours time, whatever. Then you'll find you have so much of free time. Believe me, it works. Let me go to the 4th point of the first point that Daji said. Then I have 2 more points, and then I'll connect all of them back. I have till now shared your ability to galvanize the team by setting goals, your ability to communicate the goals effectively, continuously. It's not just a one-time communication. Please bear in mind, otherwise masters need not speak about transmission repeatedly for the last 100 years. Lalaji has spoken, Babuji has spoken, Chariji has spoken. Why Daji has to again speak? Why in future they have to speak? Because we need repetition. We are animals of repetition. When someone tells me again, I tend to get a sense of urgency. So the second thing is your ability to communicate, to inspire people, to galvanize towards the goal and ensure that you find what are the blocks and keep removing them. The third one I mentioned is your ability to manage your time and help your team members manage their time. The moment they burn out, please bear in mind they are not going to be there with you for the next time. Whether it's a paid job, whether it's a volunteer job, it is still their life. It's your responsibility as a leader to ensure that these people's time is well managed. Whether you want to call it work-life balance, whether you want to call it work-life integration, a lot of jargons are there. But ensure that whatever you do, the people who are part of your team, you take care of the time. They spend sufficient time for their practice. Don't say that you are doing his seva, now practice is not essential. It's not your domain yet. He can say, it's not our domain for us to decide you don't need to do practice anymore. Ensure that they get sufficient time for their families. You want to go for a movie, let them go and enjoy. It's okay. If you want possible, go with them. The last point, which is very important. Your ability to motivate. What do you mean by motivation? In English, we have the concept of etymology, finding the root of the word. English is a very strange language. The original English apparently had less than 800 words. They borrowed and they borrowed and they borrowed and they borrowed. Now that language is as big as 5-6 lakh words, I am told, maybe bigger. Any lexicographers, maybe they'll tell. Etymology is about finding where this word came from and what it means. The word motivation came from a Latin word which typically translates into to maintain force. Motive is the word. To maintain force. What do you have to maintain force for? To go towards something. When I move an object, I maintain force so that the object moves towards its destination. The motivation that I need to have, the motivation that my team members need to have is about ensuring the battery remains charged. Which means they need to have a goal. Because when you don't have a goal, you don't know really what to do. What do I wake up the next day? Today, if I speak to many of the youth when I travel, speak in colleges, schools and all that, the biggest challenge I find is this generation seems to have everything literally given to them from the time they are born. Because many of us who are 40, 50 plus here have gone through so much of hardship in life. We have created a generation with so much of, before they ask, it's there. He says phone, iPhone, the latest model is already there, whether you can afford or not. Which means they have not understood the need for creating a goal. I sneeze, dad or mom gets me something immediately. The haves, we were the have-nots and now they are the haves. I am not generalizing, but majority. Hence, they don't understand the purpose for which I need to wake up the next day. And then they go astray into drugs and so many other things. The same thing can happen to volunteers also. If there is a goal, you don't need to keep it too steep, depending upon how your teams work, their motivation levels. Set some goal and use the power of the goal to inspire people. When it comes to motivation, there are two kinds of motivation. Internal, external. External is the kickstart. You have to keep kicking, run, run, run. Doesn't help much. But at least at your level as a leader, if you're expecting somebody else to kick you, not physically, do this, do that, do this, do that, which means you're not motivated enough. Why do someone have to come and tell me that you are going slow, brother, in doing master's work? It is a contract between me and him. We are all team members. There is no defined hierarchy, though there is an org chart in the mission. Many times I have said this, we work like a solar system. All of us are connected to him. We do it because we feel a sense of connection to the master. Not because I am connected to the CC, not because I am connected to this. I may like that person. Yet my commitment for the goal is towards my commitment to the master. If I understand this, why do I need someone else to come and inspire me or motivate me? Ability to motivate is ability to inspire people to go towards the goal in the stipulated time, if possible faster. Daji wants us to cover the entire earth where we take heartfulness as a mass movement and make everyone spiritual. If he can do faster, he's going to be happy. If he can't do faster, he will only say, okay, it's okay, fine. The nature will carry on with the work later. It's up to you. Nobody has to tell you what it is. So there are 4 points I shared when it comes to the leadership perspective. I will summarize and then go to the other 2 points Daji said. I will finish my time. I have another 8 minutes. And after that, if there is time permitted by the organizers, I will take a couple of Q&A or talk to you later. Your ability to galvanize the team using goal. Your ability to communicate. Take it as G, C. The third is T for time management. The fourth is for M for motivation. If you are able to manage these 4 consistently, once a week, ask yourself these feedbacks. Am I well aligned to the goal that I want to achieve in my life, whether it's mission-based or personal or professional, whatever. Am I communicating it sufficiently enough to the people who are involved? Nothing in this world can be done alone, not even something like brushing teeth. Think about it. I will not give a direct answer, but even brushing teeth you can't do alone. You need the help of a team member. And then the ability to manage your time. Time being an infinite source, yet finite of 24 hours every day. Whatever best I can achieve, I have to achieve today. Tomorrow, I don't know who will be here, who will not be here. That is the strangest thing about the world. The last one is your ability to be motivated, preferably self-motivated. Nobody needs to come and tell you have to do this today. For me, I always think personally, no offense meant, if somebody has to remind me this is the work you have to do for the master, I take it as an insult. Not by that person, which means I haven't thought of it. If somebody has to tell me this is something you could have done, which means I haven't thought well enough to do what I can do for him to earn that paycheck he has already given me when I met him first. Right? First portion is over. Two more things that he specifically wanted to be shared. The second point that he wanted to share is something he said, I want every ashram and center to become hub of activities. I asked him, Saab, what do you mean? He said, let them decide. But he said people have to come and go. Abhyasis have to come and go. Seekers have to come and go. Whatever they can do, once a week, twice a week, thrice a week, something has to happen in the ashrams and centers. People have to, it's like all of you are sitting here together, you know. There's a famous saying in behavioral science, activity kills fear. When all of us are together, we all feel galvanized, we feel good, oh wow, we are all together, we are going to do something great. After a few days, when you don't meet anyone, your battery charge goes down. Many of us are like that. We need to again meet. Do whatever it takes, sit with your team, based on your goal, see how you can fill the ashram or center with activities. This is point number 2. Point number 3, he shared this after satsang, when he was going out. He mentioned, I'll use a business language for you to understand. He communicated in a different way. But how many of you understand the difference between a cost center and a profit center? Cost center is when you spend. It's like you are a child in the family, you are a cost center. Papa earns, you spend. Mama earns, you spend. A profit center is one, when the boy grows up, the boys become men, and they start earning, and they say, Papa, now you settle down, I'll take care. That's the exact words he used. They have to go to the master that, Father, I am now taking care, don't worry. He just said, if every ashram and center becomes self-sufficient and they start contributing, that could be a seed capital. Please bear in mind, the HQ can transfer some amount to you. If you are a smart businessman, you will turn that money into an opportunity instead of just spending it on food or other expenses. And turn it into a profit. Could be a lot of Marwadis and Gujaratis and business people here who understand what I say. Turn every investment that comes from HQ into an opportunity. I'll give you an example. Recently we have started in Tiruvallur Ashram in Chennai. There's something that is easily doable. Huh? You don't need to rent it out like wedding premises and all that. Every center has abhyasis from various sectors in life. There are engineers, there are doctors, there are management experts, there are consultants, there are people who do vastu, there are people who do so many other services. We really don't know them yet. The next 1 week or 2 weeks, map your local center and find what is the kind of expertise or talent pool that you have in your center. Please bear in mind, Charji has said this several times, Daji has repeated this, the core practice will always be given free. Meditation, cleaning, prayer. It's always free. Like what Dolly was sharing, what Nitya was sharing. There's so many avenues of opportunity. You just have to think a bit out of the box, put it into a system, talk to your AMC, vet it, if need be get a approval from the HQ, and then see how you can take some seed capital. Just tell HQ next time, don't say it's an expense. Just say that, can you invest this amount, I'll give this much back to you. They'll come to your center and ask, what's happening here? What are these people doing? Coming back to sum it up, 2 more minutes. 3 points that I wanted to share. We all, by nature, we are leaders. We don't realize it. Let the leadership capability in you come out. There are several leadership qualities. I shared 4 of them for you. Your ability to set goals, your ability to communicate those goals and get the resources to make people go towards those goals, your ability to manage time as a resource, and your ability to motivate yourself and motivate others. Point number 2, your ability to get the ashrams active, continuously active. Do some activities. Keep the water flowing, as they say. As long as the perennial river, like perennial river, the water keep flowing, people will come. People will ask, what's happening here? So much of activity is there, we need to go. The third one is to see at the end of the year, or at the end of the quarter, or at the end of half year, whatever. Go and tell HQ, I need you to give me so much money. We are doing these activities. This will be the excess of income over expenditure which you want to transfer back to you. This is the plan. It might not work out in day one, might not work out in day two, but there are enough experts available in HQ for them to guide you on how this can be done. Since it has come from Daji, he has something in his mind which is working. All we have to do is to cooperate. There are 3 things which I shared, with which I will close. Ensure that we all become better and better leaders. The opportunity is there. It's something which is free. Where else will you find you are appointed by an order from the president, asked to do a leadership role? Even in a company, you have to toil for it before you get to the next promotion. Here it's something that chases you all the time. It's a great opportunity. Come together last 2 days, and tomorrow what are you going to get? Find all these details and see how we can put them as goals for you, for your team. Galvanize together. Let's realize Daji's vision as soon as possible, if possible in the next few years' time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brother Prakash. That was certainly an extremely enlightening session on leadership.